Our sister station in Dallas spoke with voters who explained why their vote is so important to them.
Coming out to do it early lets people know that you're taking this serious.
Waiting in line.
I live across the street. I was here at 6:45 in the morning.
It becomes such an afterthought.
I don't think patience is really necessary. I think excitement. Like, I was excited.
When it's for something that really matters to us.
Having our voices heard now more than ever is really important.
That was the case Tuesday across North Texas as we saw massive turnout for the first day of early voting.
Today is very important because of all the things that we have gone through this year.
Precinct after precinct.
The line was already down here, and then it just kept getting longer and wrapped around.
You found shuffling feet, people happy to wait, and if you just listen,
No excuses, get here as soon as I can.
each line had a story. We saw people voting for the first time,
And I'm 68, so it's been a long time.
and those claiming to be pros, folks who had to find their feet again in the pandemic.
A change for everybody, but I think we've done a really good job.
And some,
She was one of my best friends. We were always hanging out together.
like Michael Tijerina,
She was in the hospital and she never left.
who lost someone special to him.
I'm here for her and for the 210,000 plus people who died.
Whatever the topic, whatever the issue, you found it in a line, wrapped around a corner,
Make your voice heard. Get out there when you can.
anxious to matter.
Early voting runs from now until October 31st. The polls are open Monday through Fridays from 8 a.m. to 7:30. Polls are open on Saturdays and Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5. The last day for early voting, Halloween, but no, you got to get there early. They close at 3 p.m. on that day. Guys, I am so thrilled to see this many people getting involved.
Yeah, and it's funny, I've been seeing on social media long lines, and I know it's kind of annoying, right, when you have to wait in line to cast your vote. But for me, I find that encouraging because that's a lot of people exercising their right to vote and realizing that, hey, if I have to wait 3 hours in line, that's worth it for me to make my voice heard.
It's a right that we have, and it's something that we have to exercise. I mean, it's always big, but I think it's just built up now where people understand that voting is so important. And I'm going to say this now, I'll bet you that this may be one of the highest voter turnouts in at least recent history, if not going back decades.
It seems like it so far. We'll see if that holds out.
Yeah, I mean, we topped 1 million in 2 days, which is unheard of. So let's keep the votes coming.
We'll be right back.
You know, in these times when some people would say it's political unrest, it is nice to see a respectful discussion from differing viewpoints. And our friends at Wake Forest, they have really raised the bar with their new series. They call it Face to Face. I spoke with Dean Michelle Gillespie at Wake about this virtual series that will explore civil discussions of opposing sides. Well, Dean Gillespie, this is, I love this idea of kind of the face-to-face, taking speakers from two different areas and putting them in together. It's one thing to have a speaker series, it's another to have two speakers going at it at the same time. How did this idea come up?
I think this idea came out of really what a liberal arts education at Wake Forest is all about, that we really think our students and our larger community needs to engage with each other in the issues of the day. So our work on Call to Conversation really, I think, brought up the importance of being able to hear different voices and pick up on different kinds of arguments. So face-to-face as a speaker forum really was created in March, right in the beginning of March, right before the pandemic.
So it's interesting, it must take a lot of research to choose who you're going to get, because you kind of want point counterpoint, but you want it within reason. And how does that process work?
Well, the process really works with us thinking about having representation in politics, in arts and culture, and business and social justice, and who are the most world-renowned, the most influential voices, and what would it mean, what would it look like, what do we think it would look like to team them up together. So it's research, 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 and then I think in the end, just a good sensibility about who the right personalities are with the right knowledge and who are really important voices who would be great to put together on the stage.
So if someone were to say, what do you want the end user, the audience to take away from this, what would you say?
I would say that we want our viewers to come to this with an open mind and to learn some new things, to be able to look at different perspectives, and also to be able to see two people in really great civil discourse with each other, really listening to each other and responding to each other and respecting each other and trying to think through some of the weightiest problems and challenges in the world today.
We could use a little more respect in discussions, that's for sure. Thank you so much for your time today, Dean. Good luck with this. This is great.
Thank you so much.
This really sounds like a great event. I would encourage you to participate. It's only $10 for the tickets for you to watch this. And again, it's a really good lesson in watching people on opposing sides handle things with respect for each other. Two Pulitzer Prize winning writers, by the way, this go around. So I've linked you to their website, and just look for this story at WFNYnews2.com. You can get your tickets. So I thought it might be fun to do a different spin on this and ask you, if you could pick two people, not politics, we'll keep that all out, just two people, whether they're celebrities or whoever, to debate each other in public, who would it be? And lots of folks had some good humor in this one. Bobby Odom, he said Howard Stern and Rosie O'Donnell. How about that? MD Moore said, tough question, so many great combos. Maybe Buzz Aldrin debating the guy he punched that time who thought the moon landing was fake. I didn't even remember that. Scott Sutton said George Carlin and pretty much anybody else. And Miranda said Samuel L. Jackson and George Wallace. I'm telling you, you could come up with some pretty... I would probably follow in Miranda's footsteps in that. I would like to actually see two comedians doing some sort of debate. That would be funny.
You know, we did this back in Two Wants to Know a few years ago. We called it Two Wants to Know, Two Sides to the Story. And we had different people come on once a week. And my favorite one was a dealer mechanic and an independent mechanic about where should you take your car, to the dealership or independent. I learned so much.
Oh my goodness.
You never know who you're going to learn from. It's really informative.
Yeah, that's news you can use. News you can use. I was going to say the two people that I would like to see debate, because I've seen them banter back and forth, is Cardi B and Ellen DeGeneres. I just think that would be a great conversation.
It would be entertaining for sure.
Yes. Okay.
On that note, we can't top that. We're headed to break. We'll be right back.
Mic check 1 2 3 4. Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2.
Trump took a good economy and drove it back into the ditch. His failure to get COVID under control.
Mic check 1 2 3 4. Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 4 to 5. Mic check 1 2 3. Mic sweet.
People who lost wages or the cost of groceries gone up dramatically. Donald Trump has been almost singularly focused on the stock market, the Dow and NASDAQ. Not you, not your families.
Okay.
The Holiday Market and the Craftsman's Classics are canceled this year. Both events are typically held in Greensboro at the Coliseum each year. Now, those events are already rescheduled to next year for 2021, but of course still has many people upset that they aren't happening this year. So Brian Bennett's keeping up with your comments. We posted a link to this story on our website and a lot of people sharing their thoughts.
Yeah, Tahisha, a lot of people are not too excited about it. They're actually kind of sad. So let's just jump right in. Lisa actually kept it all the way real, though. She says, I am so sick of all this crap, and I think a lot of people are. Wendell says, no, in the words of Will Ferrell. Marilyn says, we'll have to find another outing this year. This outing was actually something that a lot of families did each and every single year, sort of like a tradition. Jackie says, couldn't go last year. I broke my ankle on Thanksgiving, was really hoping to go this year, but now, unfortunately, that will not be happening. Mary says, going to miss our yearly tradition of going. And lastly, Betsy says, this is very unfortunate. Small business vendors hit hard this year, and it keeps coming. Why not make it an outdoor event and allow more people to attend and spread out? So a lot of people kind of bummed out.
There's an idea, though. Are we able to bring it outside? I mean, maybe we can find an appropriate way to do it. I don't know, with the social distancing. I myself, I am very upset. You know, I actually went 2 days in a row last year because I was so excited.
You know, even if they could put all the items for sale online, that'd be fun just to scroll through that before bed. I know a lot of people would still be shopping that way and supporting those small businesses.
So it's like we've come up with two
You know,
ideas.
if you did it in the parking lot, and you had, it's almost like a craft fair. Then, you know, you have a booth, right? And each person has a booth to sell their wares. And then my philosophy, I think Tahisha will agree with me on this, is that about every 6th booth you have a different nice warm pastry, hot chocolate, or sweet to keep you going down the line. That's how it works.
Yeah, and we have a lot of great bakeries in town and in the surrounding areas that I think would love to be set up at a place like that, kind of get their name out there.
You know, I always do gain so much weight, though, anytime I go to one of these events, because you have to try all the samples. You can't resist.
No, the calories don't count.
It's like when everybody eats their way through Costco. Everybody does that. They nibble their way through Costco. It's
why you go.
All right, let's talk about our forecast, shall we? Yes, that's right. We mentioned a freeze watch and warning earlier. That is for tonight. I want to make sure that I'm correcting myself. I believe we talked about Saturday night. It goes until Saturday morning at 10 a.m. So that's for our western and northwestern communities from Davie County, Yadkin, Surrey, and west. In the highest elevations, it's actually a freeze warning. That's in effect for Ashe and Watauga County, so around Boone and around Jefferson. So it's going to be cold tonight and tomorrow night, by the way. Wouldn't be surprised if we don't see this again tomorrow night. Satellite and radar now. We have a couple of sprinkles out there, but that'll move on to the east pretty quickly. Behind that, we'll see lots of clear skies, but winds will kick up just a little bit, we think. Breezy for your Saturday. They'll relax a little bit on Sunday, I think, but it's kind of chilled sunshine as we see overnight lows dropping down. You know, quite possibly we could see about 38, 39 degrees heading into Sunday morning, but the high tomorrow only 61 at 65 Sunday. Back to the low to mid 70s for the majority of next week with partly cloudy skies, and we are clear after this rain leaves us tonight for the rest of the 7-day outlook.
Dr. Mandy Cohen announced the first flu-related death in North Carolina yesterday, and a viewer reached out to us asking about current flu numbers compared to coronavirus numbers. We're answering that question next at 4:30. Happy Friday afternoon to you. I'm Ben Briscoe with Tahisha Moyes and Eric Chilton for your 4 to 5.
Yes, we made it to Friday. I can say I'm excited about that. And we're excited to have you here along for the ride. You know, this show is meant to build you and connect you to the community around us. You can stay connected with us by posting on social media and using that hashtag 4 to 5 so that we'll see your comment.
We want to know your comments on the top stories of the day, like this: a red flag across the country. The U.S. recorded more than 60,000 new coronavirus cases Thursday. That is the first time we've had that many cases in 2 months. Last time the U.S. reached more than 60,000 cases was back in August, on August 14th. Our country also passed 8 million cases today. At the same time, a new study from the Department of Defense is suggesting it is safe to fly as long as passengers are wearing their mask. The study with United Airlines used mannequins with aerosol generators which simulated breathing and coughing. Researchers found the masked mannequins sent 0.003% of particles into another passenger's breathing space. United Airlines says the results show the risk of spreading the virus is practically non-existent, even on a full flight. And North Carolina Zoo's carousel is open again. Everyone, including members, needs to reserve time online for the carousel before visiting the zoo. Tickets are $3 per person. The 36-foot endangered species carousel opened back in 2006.
We are digging into our email bag concerning flu and coronavirus numbers. We got a comment from someone after we were getting reports of course, the flu starting to pick back up because it is flu season after all. So a viewer emailed us asking if there are any numbers out for the seasonal flu, adding she would like to know them and how it compares to coronavirus. So the agency, CDC, does not have that data just yet for seasonal flu numbers. The agency started collecting that data this month, but North Carolina Health Secretary Mandy Cohen did report the first flu death here in North Carolina for the 2020-2021 season. Weekly flu numbers will come out every Thursday, and we will update you with those numbers as they become available. In the meantime, President Trump and Democratic nominee Joe Biden were asked some tough questions looming over voters' minds yesterday. President Trump stated that the U.S. has the greatest economy in the history of our country, but numbers don't show that. Before the pandemic, the U.S. did have the most jobs on record. An economist compared economic growth under President Trump to former presidents. The growth under President Trump is averaging 2.48% annually before the pandemic. But under President Ronald Reagan, economic expansion averaged 4.2% a year. When asked about a coronavirus relief bill, the president said the bill needs to be big.
I'm ready to sign a big, beautiful stimulus. You saw the other day, I say go big or go home, right?
That's what
I want it to be big. I want it to be bold.
In the meantime, Democratic nominee Joe Biden denounced the White House's handling of coronavirus, declaring the Trump administration at fault for closing a pandemic response office set up by the Obama administration. Biden is promising to roll back tax cuts for wealthier Americans. He argues doing this could save $92 billion.
If you raise the corporate tax just back to 28%, which is a fair tax, you'd raise $1.3 billion by that one act. In 4 years, Moody's, Wall Street, said I will create 18.6 million new jobs, good paying jobs, number one.
The town halls were held in lieu of the second presidential debate. The third and final debate is still scheduled as an in-person debate on October 22nd in Nashville. Vice President Mike Pence is campaigning in Morrisville today as part of his Make America Great Again rally, of course, for President Trump at the farm at 95. Vice President Mike Pence is now heading to Pennsylvania for a campaign there tomorrow.
Guilford County Schools' new reopening plan is still the big topic of conversation this week around town. Many of you are reacting to the decision to keep kids at home. Amy Harbour, a 6th grade teacher at Northeast Middle School, told WFMY News 2 she's happy with the change. Brian Bennett joins us now. Brian, what else are people saying about this decision to slow things down?
Yeah, Ben, she may be happy, but a lot of the parents on our Facebook page are not, okay? So I'm going to just read the comments because that's what I do, right? So we're going to start with Donna. She says, they want a huge rage to not teach. Go figure. Cue the stay-at-home teachers' anger in 3, 2. While Tiffany says, kids have been in daycare the whole time and daycare teachers don't get a break. So what's the difference? Noelle says, if you don't want to work, then don't. But kids need to go back to school. We can go out to eat, grocery shop, etc. Kids can go to school. Ms. Phillips says they have had 7 months to prepare. And lastly, Andrew says this is who's teaching our kids. For job security, she should want to go back in the classroom. The state shouldn't need that many middle school science teachers with online learning. Now, somebody did come to the teachers' aid and said, glad teachers are actually standing up for themselves now. They're mistreated, underpaid, and underappreciated. I couldn't read that comment within the tag board comments because she actually used profanity, but you know, parents are ready for their children to go back to school, judging from these comments.
Profanity, clearly a lot of passion there. Now, it is important to note that the school district says the reason they're slowing down is because the metrics aren't where they need them to be. They say they can get back into school if we do a better job containing coronavirus. Brian, thanks for keeping the chat going. Let us know how you feel on our WFMY News 2 Facebook page or our 4 to 5 live streams. Eric, you ready to...
All right, we're looking at temperatures, and you know what? We're getting chilly, folks. Get ready for the weekend. You're going to need the sweaters here, jackets, the whole 9 yards. 40 will be our low tonight. We have some evening sprinkles that will give way to clearer skies, but winds will pick up on the backside of that cold front. So tomorrow's high 61. It may feel more like the 50s when you factor in the winds, but it will be sunny pretty much all weekend. Freeze watch and warning, we're looking at this. This is a frost advisory from Davie County, Yadkin, Surrey West, and in the higher elevations in Boone and Jefferson areas, so Watauga and Ashe counties, you're looking at a freeze warning in effect until tomorrow around mid-morning. We think there's a look at the satellite and radar combination right now. Just a couple of sprinkles, northern Davidson County. You could see that anywhere. Drizzle really can develop below the radar, so it won't show up here, but you could see that mist or light drizzle. I think in another probably 3 to 4 hours, we'll see most of that move on to the east and then that gradual clearing. Again, remember those winds will be picking up as you see the two systems together, the low pressure to the north and east, the high pressure back to the west. That funnels all that northerly flow over us, and that's why it gets a little breezy heading into Saturday. By Sunday, the winds might relax a little bit. We think some southerly flow to the winds will return next week, and that will be able to warm us back up into the 70s. You look at the weekend, the main points here will be those overnight lows. Chilly mornings, 40 degrees Saturday morning, 39 on Sunday, and those high temperatures only between 61 and 65. Again, an evening sprinkle tonight, but our long-range forecast showing a chilled sunshine Saturday, Sunday. We're back to 71 Monday, and then we hover in the mid-70s for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We think for the majority of next week, we're looking at partly cloudy skies. Overnight lows for the most part, once we get to Tuesday morning, will be in the low to mid-50s.
We are picking up new habits and learning new trades during the pandemic. We're also taking a look at another industry seeing a boom during the pandemic. Let us know in the 4 to 5 live stream if you've picked up a new hobby here over the last couple months. We'd love to know. We'll be right back. Many are picking up new hobbies or habits during the pandemic, including playing instruments. CBS News' Nancy Chen explains how sales are soaring in the music industry.
Karen Maynenti has not played a musical instrument since a bad violin recital in second grade, but that changed in May when a friend gave her a ukulele.
I'd never touched one before. I always thought it was really cute looking.
The Manhattan artist now practices every day with weekly virtual lessons. It's a welcome distraction in a world of uncertainty.
You're not thinking about anything else. You're thinking about literally where to move your fingers, what sound you're hearing, what's happening. And I think it is a huge relief from those everyday thoughts of not knowing.
Musical instrument sales are soaring across the country as people use their time at home to try something new. Stores are seeing more women and younger customers than before. Guitar Center saw its total sales grow 85% in August.
Some of the categories we've seen specifically that have been really kind of uptrending are acoustic guitars and keyboards. Clearly, people have had those on their bucket list as items they wanted to learn how to play.
Guitar Center sales have nearly doubled for keyboards, nearly tripled for acoustic guitars, and more than tripled for electronic drums, as learning something new strikes a chord.
I think it's just been really meaningful to bring something new into my life when you see so many doors shutting down.
Music never sounded so sweet.
So it seems like this is kind of just the latest thing, right? Because first it was baking, and then it was biking, and then it was gardening. So now we've moved on to the musical instruments. It's funny, I was having this conversation with my fiance the other day. I was like, I need a hobby. I can't just keep watching Netflix after work. And I used to take Spanish classes at GTCC before the pandemic, but then things got all wonky. And now I'm like, I think I need to get back into my Spanish lessons.
Get you some Rosetta Stone going, for sure.
Yes.
So I'm a big believer in learning new things often. I hate feeling intimidated by stuff. So every few months, I pick something that seems really kind of scary and watch a lot of YouTube videos and learn how to do it. So last week, I actually made drapes for my house. I bought a sewing machine and everything. And next up is learning how to change my own oil, which I'm really kind of scared about that one.
Man, I'm telling you, the sewing machine thing, that is not easy. I admire you for that one. I will say this, I got the old drums out that's been forever. I tried to play drums in my 20s, and I pulled the kit out, set it up in my garage because my wife won't let me have it in the house. So once in a while, you might hear it coming out of the garage, and I apologize to the neighbors.
I think we need a live stream of that
because
soon.
It's bad.
Ben, I just think it is so impressive.
Right.
Ben, that you pick something new to do. A lot of people don't have that mindset of, they say if they're intimidated, okay, then they're not going to do it. But you're not like that.
Listen, we are all smart people here. We can all learn something new. It just takes a little time and lots of patience.
I love that.
See, he's so inspiring. Inspiring, that's what that is. All right, let's talk about a forecast that, if you like fall, this is inspiring for you, right? Temperatures cooling down. I love this because I kind of like when we get into those 60s and 40s. That's really fun for me. At this time of the year, too, it just gives you, we're finally full on into the break. Summer's gone, and now we're looking ahead to the holidays. It's 64 degrees right now in the Triad. Warm it up to 68 in Charlotte. Now, if you head south, Charleston, South Carolina is at 85 right now, and we're 20 degrees cooler than that. They are obviously a little bit warmer than us usually, but not that much. That's because this cold front is starting to push through. Your planning forecast for tomorrow means that we start with a 40-degree temperature. By the way, overnight will clear out. So the cloud cover that you see now and some light sprinkles here or there, that'll give way to sunshine tomorrow, but it'll be cool and breezy. That high of 61 for your Saturday will not feel like 61 when you factor in the winds. Don't forget, there is that frost advisory for the western Piedmont and the mountain and foothill communities in a freeze warning. That's for tonight until tomorrow morning at 10. 65 on Sunday, and then low to mid 70s, partly cloudy for the majority of next week. We'll be right back.
So I have this car, Ben, that needs an oil change, and I have some windows that need some drapery. Hello, hello, wink, 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 nudge, nudge, nudge.
For rent and hire.
You know, as a parent, when you sign your kid up for an activity or an organization, you kind of want to be there in person, you know, just to get a read on things and the organizers, that type of thing. During COVID, though, that could be very difficult. But that's why the Dash, the Winston-Salem Dash, they teamed up with the Scouts, the YMCA, and NC Fusion, the soccer organization there, to make it easier. I spoke with Michael Boyce, who's with the Boy Scouts, and Dash President CJ Johnson about this event. It is this weekend. It's a drive-through sign-up event in the Dash's parking lot. Well, Michael, this is unique. You know, we hear all kinds of people having to be creative these days to make things happen, but you guys are doing, I've never heard of a drive-through sign-up event, whether you're talking scouting or sports. And describe this to me.
So this is a very unique event that we've created. And Scouts has the honor of being one of the several organizations that will be here at this event. We are also having the YMCA and Fusion events where parents can drive through and come to different stations and get information and even sign up for the different organizations in a drive-through fashion.
CJ, you guys are kind of the host venue. This is really cool. You know, why do this? Why get involved?
Parents are always looking for safe activities for their children, and in these unique times that we're in, a lot of that is kind of transferred online. And for parents to really have comfort that this is going to be a safe opportunity for their kids, I feel like a lot of times they want to be able to meet with folks face to face. And so we've been able to create that opportunity for them, but in a safe environment where they're able to drive through and have that interaction from a safe distance and find out if this is the right opportunity for their kids.
We used to do most of our recruiting doing in-school recruitments, and so this year we've had to really get creative with how we recruit our youth and you know, promote the organization. We've even have a text to join 888-111 to join Scouts is another opportunity that we've even started to create, and beascout.org, and to even do online applications.
Well, you definitely have. I'm sure a lot of folks will head out to the Dash Stadium, to the parking lot for this event. Thanks for taking time out today, Michael. We appreciate it.
Eric, thank you so much for the time.
So this is a good way to do it, because at least you get somewhat of a personal experience from the safety of your car. And, you know, I mean, you could have a conversation distance, but still see the people, talk to them, get a good idea for what's going on. And it's good to see all those organizations coming together to make that happen. That's kind of a good variety from scouting to sports.
Yeah, and just a great way to get involved and plugged into the community. You know, the last couple months, it kind of feels like we've been doing the opposite of that. We've been spending so much time away from each other, just going to events like this and seeing other people, even if they're in another car. It brightens your day.
It also gives you hope that one day we're going to get through this, and then you're going to have a group of friends to be able to celebrate with through all these new organizations. It's great stuff.
So what is the limit
and I was
to
talking
being a Boy Scout?
To the
age limit. Because Chilton, I feel like you need to redeem yourself.
I feel like you were an Eagle Scout.
Hey, I talked to him. It's so funny you brought that up. I mentioned that because Ben the other day, Maddie and Tash and I all admitted that we didn't make it through Scouts very far. And I told him, I said, we're 3 scouting dropouts. And I did make it to Weeblitz as far as I got. And he told me, he goes, don't worry, my cousin gives me a hard time because this guy's an Eagle Scout. He goes, he stuck it out and I pick on him for not making it. So, you know, what are you going to do? All right, let's talk about our forecast, folks. Let's move on with chilly conditions for this weekend. Highs will be in the 60s. Lots of sunshine, beautiful fall weather, but it's going to be cold in the mornings. 40 tomorrow morning if you have to be out anywhere. That'll be around that 7 o'clock time period. 39 on Sunday morning, some of the coldest temperatures that we've seen in a while, and that will give way to warmer weather for next week, but we are entering into a dry period here. There's really, after tonight, sprinkles, which that won't last but just a few more, maybe an hour or two if you see anything at all. But after that, we're dry for the majority of the 7-day. We don't have a rain mention in there. Sunshine, breezy and cool tomorrow. There's that 61 and 65 degree high for Saturday, Sunday. We're back to the low 70s Monday. We are partly cloudy every day next week. Highs build to the mid to upper 70s for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Overnight lows by midweek are back to the low 50s.
Coming up on WFMY News 2 at 5 o'clock, Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools is looking for a new superintendent after Dr. Angela Hairston announced she is taking a job with Danville Public Schools. Parents and teachers are reacting to this news, plus we're digging deeper into what the future holds for the district. That's next at 5.
Yes, mic check 1, 2, 3. As one school district prepares to welcome kids back next week, another is dealing with the fallout.
Today, the voting lines are moving a lot faster. This polling unit saw more than 1,200 voters cast their ballots here yesterday.
Hi there, it's a Fresca Friday in the Triad. Hopefully everyone's doing well. I got 64 bottles of Fresca. I'm good to go. No, only 32. It's a lot.
Hi there. Guilford County school leaders are preparing for some students to return to the classroom full-time next week. Today they released how bus rides will
Today we need to uncover the truth about face masks. Going on 6 months since our stay-at-home order happened, and most people are wearing them, but some are still refusing. Just this week, I've heard several high-profile politicians cite a new CDC study to try and convince you that masks don't work. Let's take a look at what exactly the CDC really said. Researchers interviewed 154 people who caught coronavirus. In the 14 days before getting sick, 85% of them say they always or often wore a face mask in public. So some look at that information and say, see, they wore the mask and still got sick, so a mask doesn't work. That's wrong. The authors of the study at the CDC say that's incorrect, tweeting out, CDC guidance says that wearing a mask is meant to protect other people in case the mask wearer has COVID-19. Scientists can show you how this works. See for yourself. This study from Florida Atlantic University uses lasers to determine how effective masks can be. A normal cough with no mask projected water droplets which could be carrying coronavirus